Hello, Ankit. So, welcome to my podcast, Kirti Loves Spanish. Please share something about yourself with us. You are on mute.
Yes, so hi Kirti. Nice talking to you here. I'm an author basically, and I write under a pen name uh, Chase Austin. And there's also a romance author pen name which I am currently working upon. I might not. So let's see it will how it pans out eventually. But yeah, the main pen name is Chase Austin, which is under which I write action thrillers, crime thrillers. Yeah, and I think these are two genres which I write into, right? Basically, and I have more than 35 books in fiction, and I have five active series right now. So there are multiple books in each series, and so yeah, that is. Apart from that, I also write in LinkedIn, and I also create content as and when I think that I want to write something or I want to record something else. So that is something which I keeps on working, which I keeps on working.
Okay. So, I was reading about yourself. You started your career in marketing and then you moved towards writing. So, how did that happen?
Yeah, so uh, I have been writing from I think 2007 or 2008. So my first book was published in 2010,
Mhm,
and I have been writing like so it's been almost 18 19 years I believe.
mhm,
And in between I did my MBA because in India you cannot make money as a writer. It's very
mhm,
difficult to make money or earn a living only solely on writing.
mhm,
So yes, I was also working with a company, and then I did my MBA in marketing. And then I worked with a couple of startups to understand uh, the marketing aspect of it, because startups gives you a much broader what you can say much broader options, like many options to learn to enhance your skills at a very tight budget. So I think that helped me in my approach. And then when I realized that okay, I can well, I realized that there's a market apart from India where I can write and sell my books. So then I started focusing on that how I can crack that market while being in India, while being but writing stories that appeal to the world. I think that was the goal. And yeah, MBA marketing in MBA sorry MBA in marketing helped me in a way because it gave me a perspective that okay, I can do this at if even if I have a low budget or less money to market my books. So yeah, I think so. I've been a writer for so long that I only I'm only using these skills to enhance how to reach more readers. I think that writing is just a very tiny part of it. The whole ecosystem, the whole system needs a lot of other things, a lot of other skill sets that I have learned over a period of time. And yes, I think that's what that is what taught in MBA schools, in B schools, that okay, how you can use your resources skillfully and judiciously.
Okay. So, आपने mentioned किया कि it's difficult to make money as a writer in India. So, what do you think? How do writers make money in India?
See, there are multiple ways. Like, there are multiple paths to publishing. So one is the traditional path, which everyone knows, that you have to write a book, then you have to send copies. Like you have sent couple of chapters to the publisher's email ID, and then hope for the best. And it might take 6 months to 1 year for them to respond back. And then if you're lucky, you get a chance. If you don't get lucky, then obviously you will again have to edit, rewrite, whatever. Keep on sending, and it might take years before you land a publishing gig, or it it is quite possible that your book might never be published at all. And once it is also even when it is published, still the sales part or the marketing part um, very much depends on you, how you approach the process. Because most traditional publishers, they don't. I'm not sure if there's any publisher in India, probably also in US, UK, who is very good at marketing books. They can obviously sell books which are written by authors who are probably famous or who have a big following. But apart from that, it's very difficult for any author, for any even for any publisher to sell a large number of copies of any book, especially by a new author or by a middle-list author. The middle-list author, I mean, which is like author which has written some books, probably 10 plus books, but he's not very popular. He has a very he probably has a small reader base, and publishers keep them because they want their catalog to be like, they want something in their catalog that they can print or publish every second month of every third month.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that is why it is very difficult. And obviously, writer is at the bottom level of the chain. Even though he's creating the book, he's writing the book, but it is very difficult for a writer. He gets probably in India also the royalties are also very low. You get 5%, 4%, 6% as a new author. If you are very lucky, you might get a 7.5. But then the book pricing is also very low because generally in India books are sold at 100 rupees, 200 rupees. So 5% of, suppose let's say if you have a 5% royalty, so 100 rupees, like if your book is at 100 rupees, then you will be getting 5 rupees. If your book is at 200 rupees, you will be getting 10 rupees. So 10 rupees, like even if you sell 1 lakh copies, you will only get 10 lakh rupees, and that too you will get over a period of time, like 6 months, one one check, then another 6 months, another check, and then for 1 lakh copies, like in India, if you sell 10,000 copies or 5,000 copies, you are considered a bestseller. So I think that is a very low bar. And if you sell 10,000 copies, you are considered as a best-selling author. So even if you sell 10,000 copies, you will probably get 1 lakh rupees, and that too in like in months, in 3 months, 6 months, whatever. So and yeah, so I think that is why even no, and this is not just in India, but even outside, it is very difficult to earn a living as a writer because writing is something which people, as a consumer, if you see, you only buy books for entertainment, right? And then there you are, then books are competing with Netflix also, but books are competing with YouTube also. So books as an source of entertainment is actually in a very crowded space, and people have limited money. So if you are a new author, it is very difficult for somebody who has a limited budget to spend that money on you, on your book, right? So I think that is why it is pretty difficult to and to build a leadership with just one book or two books. It takes a lot of time, lot of books, and a lot of good books actually, not just books, but you have to write good stories, and eventually you need to focus on the marketing aspect also because you need to reach those readers. Just writing good books won't help you. So that is why many writers have to rely on a second or third. So writing is probably their side hustle or side job. They depend mainly on a primary job, and then obviously writing is something which they do, which they continue as a hobby, and then probably if they are lucky, they get to make a living out of it, which is very rare, which is very few writers can do that, or can claim to do that.
Do you have any favorite authors in India? Anybody whom you like to pick? I don't want to make it controversial also, but
No,
anybody
yeah,
whose time you like
I
to.
rarely get time to read nowadays. Been years I've read anything from an Indian author, probably also from outside. I used to read a lot, but I still used to read in what I write, like in my genre, Lee Child, James Patterson, those kind of names, uh, Bourne trilogy, and Vince, Mitch Rapp, those kind of novels, books, Vince Flynn, those kind of. So yeah, I have read Stephen King. I've read Dean Koontz. I've read a lot. But in India, I think I have not. Well, I've read a couple of Chetan Bhagat's book, but I was in college at that time, and his book was. I got his book from my roommates, like from one of the hostelers' room. So I read it in a day or two. So yeah, it is very difficult to read, yeah, because uh, I I'm constantly writing. So
So do you find
And I
like I was reading somewhere and it is always said about writers that they read a lot. So like you said, you have a lot of deadlines and work. So do you get time to read?
see, you don't have to read, you actually have to consume content basically.
Mhm,
Read a lot is actually a old saying, when there was not, there was only reading as a source of research or inspiration, whatever, right?
mhm,
But now there are lot of uh, ways that you can get your research done, or maybe get your ideas. So I watch a lot of documentaries, basically on YouTube, Netflix. I watch a lot of geopolitics news, because my books deal with those things. So I had to. So if I'm basing a book in Afghanistan Pakistan border, so I will obviously go through their history, why they are the, their border issues,
mhm,
why Pakistan is like, what Pakistan is doing, what Afghanistan is doing, then about their terrorist groups.
mhm,
So, and I generally consume content a lot. So it's not like that I do it for just for the research part. I generally consume content a lot, and reading is, and because of AI also,
mhm,
today if I have to read an article, I generally give it to the AI
mhm,
and tell me, and ask it to tell me basically what is the idea and what are the summary points, and then if I'm interested, then I'll go and just focus on that particular probably paragraph or some that section. I
mhm.
will not read the whole thing.
Okay.
So that is, I think, that is the benefit, or that is the pros and cons of AI for me,
Mhm,
because research part, and I generally, because see, when you read a lot or when you consume content a lot, I want to say read a lot, but when you consume content a lot, basically, so even if the content is unrelated, like if you are watching something, maybe a movie clip or maybe a scene or maybe a documentary, and so your brain, my brain works in a way that it can connect those dots. It can connect to unseemingly very differentiated piece of content and create and use it in my stories. So I think that is why I need to engage my brain, so that eventually it and with the hope that it might, that when I need an idea, when I'm stuck somewhere, it will probably help me connect those dots, that okay, I watched something here and then I watched something here,
mhm.
two very different pieces, but I can connect them and get something new out of it, which will help me in my stories. So yes, so reading is not, I have a lot of books basically in my house, but I've not read all of them. But most of them I've just bought it and then I put it
All of us have
with the hope that
this book shelf
yeah.
full of books, I think.
So I think that is something. But yeah, reading, as a writer, you should be aware. You should be aware about the politics of the world, of your country, of the major countries, of your neighbors, if you're writing in that genre. So I think awareness as a writer is very
I
important.
think that's a
Whether
very
you
good advice for
yeah,
budding writers also.
whether you are writing fiction, non-fiction, whatever, but you should be aware that what is happening, what is like, you should be aware that what Gen Z is doing, what how they talk,
Mhm,
what words they use, how they think,
mhm,
what is their you know ideologies of living life,
mhm,
why they are like this, why they are not like millennials,
mhm,
right? So I think that is something that will help you. You might not use Gen Z characters in your book, but it will help you understand that maybe at times you want to write something which would have been a very good piece probably in 2005, but in 2025 or 2026 it might not be very good, it might be
mhm,
redundant or regressive. So I think from that point of view you should be aware that whatever you are and if you're writing something like that, then you should be able to, your character should be actually able to justify that okay, my character is like that,
mhm,
he might be toxic, and if he's toxic then he's doing these things which are wrong as per today's
mhm,
time, but it's a character that he has to do it.
mhm,
That is how you create a character, right? So I think, but still knowing your boundaries, it is important that you should consume content from that point of view. Whatever content you are consuming, at least use your brain, that why this content is created like this.
Mhm.
Do not, and also do not go too woke, but do not also be remain very aggressive. So going too much in either direction, being woke or being not woke, can harm you.
Okay.
So sorry, what was the question? Yeah, about the reading. So I'm just right.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying something.
So, like you mentioned, you use AI for research. I'm sure everybody uses it these days. I also use it. Many other authors also use it.
Hmm.
So, do you think with AI, I have two questions from this side that do you think, what do you feel about the reading habits of the users now that we have AI also? And how do you think AI will impact writers and publishers in future? Will the quality of writing get better, or will it deteriorate? What do you feel about it?
See, it can be used in both ways, right? AI slop is a real thing. A lot of content on YouTube is AI slop.
Mhm,
A lot of books are written using AI
mhm,
without any rhyme or reason.
mhm,
So there is no story. There's this idea
mhm,
which is very popular, and then there are authors who are using AI to write around that idea. But there is no basically. See, every story has ebbs and flows, right? There's a dip. It doesn't go like a straight line. So there are characters. I think a story AI can help you. For me, I think AI helps me in terms of research because my books are very research heavy.
mhm,
If you're writing about Afghanistan, if you're writing about guns, if you're writing about how to kill a person,
mhm,
so you have to understand ki what are the you have to know the names of different arteries.
mhm,
I'm giving you example. So you have to know the names of different arteries, different kind of.
mhm,
So which gun will use a clip, which gun will use a magazine, which gun, and each magazine with how many rounds will have it, will that clip or magazine have. If the gun, can the gun use a suppressor, right? Can
maybe we can not talk a lot of details about how a gun works. That would be good
I'm
because
just saying
yeah,
ki,
the people can take
the
your
thing is
decision.
that research is something.
Yeah, yeah, I
So
understand.
yeah, research takes
Yeah.
a lot of time, and with AI, I think my research time has curtailed like 90%. So I, because I generally need first scene. Suppose I'm writing a scene and I need a particular kind of detail that is just required for that particular, maybe one line or two line about. I
Mhm,
just need to insert that, okay, that suppose a character is going for a fight,
mhm,
or maybe there's a crime scene,
mhm,
right up, there's a dead body. So I need to understand what kind of forensic techniques will be used,
mhm,
right, in such cases, or what kind of, in US, what kind of sections, criminal sections, like in India we have IPC. So in US, what kind of sections will be used, what kind of keywords they use, like when they are calling somebody, that okay, there's a crime scene here, so what kind of keywords they use. So I think that is that general. Used to read that. I used to watch a lot of serials for just to understand the lingo. So now I know the lingo, but with AI I can go further than that.
mhm,
I can ask questions. Okay, so
mhm,
this is the scene setting, or I can just write the scene and then put some fill in the blanks there. Okay, and then ask the AI to fill in those blanks,
mhm,
just with all those details, which will obviously take me a lot of time to to find out, or so my research time has been curtailed. So
mhm,
I'm more focused on creating the story. I'm more focused on writing the story rather than focusing on the research part of it.
mhm.
So
Okay.
because research, so again, so people generally, so if you have to see that, earlier I used to use Google for that. I
Mhm,
used to go through PDFs and all. Now I'm using same Google, but all because Google has a AI component attached. So instead of giving me all those links, it gives me a summary of it. And I generally I don't rely on ChatGPT's search because
Which
it is very
AI?
unreliable.
Which AI
unreliable.
platforms would
So,
you suggest to readers or people who want to go into crime and thriller writing for research?
see, I think the first thing you should be focused on writing a story. You should have an idea. You should be focused on perfecting your first or second chapter.
Mm-hmm.
ये research comes at a very later stage
Mm-hmm.
when you are writing. See, as a even a crime novel, if you see, crime novel is also a study of characters. It's not about crime कि ये crime हुआ कैसे, इसमें
Mm-hmm.
इसमें इन्होंने किस तरह से इसको मारा है या कैसे, जो भी है. Those are minor details that you can fill in later on.
Mm-hmm.
Focus is कि जो मोटिव, उसका मोटिव क्या है, why the
Mm-hmm.
who is the killer, why he killed somebody, what is the motive, how to build that character. The focus should be on building those characters
Mm-hmm.
that people can remember, that people want to read more about,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's a main,
Mm-hmm.
मतलब even if the character is a hero or it's a villain or
Mm-hmm.
maybe just a great character. I think writing writing good story basically, and creating good characters is the basis of any story, any book. Research will depend on what you need, and you can use any tool. I think Google is also, if you are, even if you are using just Google, it also has a AI component, AI part now, like, so it will obviously tell you that okay, you can use this, you can use it, and then it will give you options, and you can choose whatever option suits you.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go deeper, you can use Gemini, you can use Chat GPT, whatever. So
Okay,
for
so
me, I think research comes,
later your essence is
the
the
story
story.
comes, story obviously, the story has to make sense, right? The story has
Yeah.
to excite
Mm-hmm.
me. I should be excited to write the story. Matlab,
Mm-hmm.
otherwise, research. I'm not writing a theory paper, right?
Yeah.
People are not reading theory paper. They want to know that how this happened, and I think that can be done in 1 or 2 lines. Okay, that this is how it happened. This is the, even if it's a gun model, you can
Mm-hmm.
just say that this is the gun model. That's it. You don't have to tell कि अच्छा इसमें ये इसकी स्प्रिंग इतनी इतनी होती है, इसका ये, you don't have to go into all those details. That is for you to know. You should know about that if you want. But readers को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Readers don't care about that. Readers all only want it, that the story should make sense.
Mm-hmm.
If it is whatever genre you are writing into,
Mm-hmm.
that story must be within that genre conventions. It should not. If you're writing a crime, you should not go into fantasy.
Mm-hmm. And why? How did you pick to write crime and thriller novels? And why, no, why not any other genre? Why did you choose this one only?
Basically, I started with romance.
Mm-hmm.
So my first 3 novels were rom-coms, but those were only targeted towards Indian audience because
Mm-hmm.
it was published by an Indian publisher,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted me to write those. So I said, "ठीक है." Uh, I I I wrote those three. Then I realized that in India you cannot make money just by writing books.
Mm-hmm.
So when I restarted my journey as a writer in 2017,
Mm-hmm.
and I realized that, so I wrote a book which was a passion project kind of thing, and it had multiple genres, like it also had supernatural elements, also had thriller, crime,
Mm-hmm.
lot of other genres. The thing is that while writing it, I wrote it, and then it was not a complete story. I just wrote the part one of it.
Mm-hmm.
Book one was just the part one, and when I finished it, I was so done. I was so exhausted, and then I didn't know how to sell it because it was so mix and match. But there was no particular genre that it was मतलब I cannot fit into any genre, particular genre कि ये crime है या supernatural है या thriller है या क्या है ये. So I think that gave me an idea कि हाँ, ठीक है, मतलब I need to focus on probably one genre, one convention, and then I realized कि what I can write best. So I watch a lot of action thriller
Mm-hmm.
content, movies, series, whatever. I've read a lot of books from those kind of writers which I liked.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, yes, if I have to write something, I should be focusing on something which I know, which
Mm-hmm.
I can, which I can conceive, or which, or basically when you write something, you need to spend certain number of hours in that genre
Mhm.
to understand what are the tropes, what kind of beats are there in a particular story, what readers like, what readers don't like, what you as a reader like,
Mhm.
right? So once you understand that thing, once you are aware of those things, then you can start writing your probably first book, or
Mhm.
and then you hope that you follow all the conventions,
Mhm.
all the genre conventions, all the requirements which a reader expects from a book like this. So I think that was the intention of writing,
Mhm.
of starting with this genre, action thriller genre. Crime happened very later. Crime happened, I think, last year probably, or 2024. So I had an idea for a very long time, but I didn't know what to write because crime is very difficult.
Mhm.
See, in action thriller, you can write anything. You can write an action scene, and there will be multiple lines which you don't have to think, which I don't have to think about while writing. But in crime, because it's a mystery, every line I have to think how it will impact the character, how it will impact the reader. If I write something, if I write a detail
Mhm.
about particular, suppose there's a room which is important for the story. So if I'm writing about that room, what happened in that room, I have to be very, very precise because I will be using the same details
Mhm.
eventually all across the book, and those details will matter because that will help the readers also to understand ki, acha, where this mystery is going,
Mhm.
or why this crime has taken place. So I think so crime writing crime thriller is very difficult. For me, it's very, very time consuming. Co- I've just written a book, uh, and it took me a lot of time, lot of brain power just to understand ki what I'm writing, why it should be written like this and not like this, why each how and each character has to be differentiated
Mhm.
in a crime thriller, as compared to action thriller. In action thriller, you can still take some freedom. You can create certain characters which might not mean much. So yes, so yeah,
So, do
and
women like to read action and crime thrillers? I'm curious.
अरे हाँ,
I don't read it.
नहीं,
I
my
don't read
most of the
crime.
readers are women. My most of the readers are women readers. They like their heroes.
Uh-huh.
They like. See, you have to build a story
Mhm.
which will give them a satisfaction that okay, this is a bad guy and this
Mhm.
bad guy is finally defeated.
Mhm.
Uh, and because my readers are women, mostly my readers are women, so I have to write women characters which are pretty strong.
Oh, that's quite interesting. Mhm.
So the thing is that I generally don't write sex scenes in my books
Mhm.
because I don't see any. Most of the time, my stories don't require any sex scenes. And if there's, I think I have written probably one sex scene in 30, 40 books. And it was, and I don't know if, and
Mhm.
I still don't know if whether it was important or not. I might use it later, but I have not used it till now. The impact of it, I have not used it. But I think there's only one scene that I've written. Yeah, that was proper. But apart from that, I don't use women for titillation.
That's
I
a
use
very good
women
approach, I
because
would say, yeah. Because a lot of
yeah, so
movies, yeah.
because I've read so many pulp novels of the 90s when they use a women for their sex appeal or for whatever, right? So I never liked that actually. I never liked that approach.
Mhm.
That approach might have worked in the 90s or probably 2000, but I don't know, man. I don't. As long as the story doesn't need it, I don't write it.
Mhm.
And even if there's a requirement, I prefer
Mhm.
not to write it, or write it in a way like that's just a part of the scene. It happened, and then move on to the next part.
Mhm. Okay.
So
So, you also write for
yes,
social media and you are into fiction writing also. So, what difference do you see in both platforms, and which one do you enjoy the most?
for social media, I write on social media because I see when you write so much crime, action, whatever.
Hmm?
So your brain is already occupied with a lot of things that normal people don't think.
Hmm?
right? So I do social media because, and if you see my social media, it's mostly time pass. I just do it for fun.
Mhm. Okay.
It is a way for me to distract myself,
Mhm. Mhm.
and maybe one day I'll have some idea to use it or to monetize it, but I don't know how. I've not thought much about it. I've thought about it, but I've not thought much about it because
Mhm.
maybe I'm happy the way it is, the way it is going right now.
Any social
This year
media
probably.
influencer or creator whom you like, their work, if you like, or their approach, you like any Indian or international?
See, I like creators who create content in a very niche genre, no niche topic.
Mhm.
Like if there's a writer who is creating content uh, b- uh, in a very niche genre like horror. Suppose he's a horror writer, right? And he's creating content, or that person's creating content in horror genre, and is still getting subscribers. I think that those people, I see that how they do it. I try to learn from them because creating, especially if they are doing YouTube,
Mhm.
especially if they are doing Instagram, because those are things that I have not been able to crack, YouTube or Instagram.
Mhm.
So I always look for creators who are doing something which is like they are not creating generic content. They are creating they are and on they are and they are not creating content which is like in finance or reviews, reaction videos or review. Those are, I think,
Mhm.
that is something that doesn't excite me. What excites me that if a creator is creating content which is in a very niche category and still probably making money out of it. So yeah, I think there are few authors which who have done this, who have cracked this code on YouTube, and I always try to learn from them. Whenever I find a podcast featuring them, I always listen to the whole podcast. I take notes, and I think that I probably use it somewhere down the line. And in India, it's very difficult also because in India there are a lot of things that are not available to us. Like Stripe is not available. So if author says that okay, I make money via Substack, but Substack only uses Stripe. So as an Indian, you cannot
Stripe,
use
yeah.
Substack to make money, right?
Mhm.
So there are a lot of things that in India you cannot do.
Mhm.
Well, in other authors can do it very easily.
Mhm.
They have all the apps. They have all the. So in India, I have to see whatever limited time I have.
Mhm.
I should be doing something which will eventually help me enhance my brand or grow my brand,
Mhm.
author brand.
Mhm.
So I keep on learning these things, and with the hope that maybe even if the facility is not
Mhm.
present today, it might be present or it might arrive tomorrow, and then I should be ready about it.
Mhm.
So those kind of creators, I generally watch them.
Mhm.
And then there's a brain rot content which I generally like. Brain rot is
Yeah, that
like
is it.
somebody's फैमिली व्लॉग चल रहा है तो वो कुछ भी बकवास कर रहे हैं तो आई तो those kind of that kind of content I generally put on and I then while writing because that doesn't take a lot of brain time na. it's
Mhm.
it's content, it's going on.
Mhm.
You can watch it, you cannot watch it, doesn't matter. You are not. So yeah, it's like a noise, white noise.
Mhm.
When you're writing something, I need a noise in my ear.
Mhm.
So I generally you put on a song or play or a music or just instrumental, or or I put these kind of brain rot content.
Okay.
So yeah.
So that keeps playing in the background and you write.
हाँ, so that keeps on like see you get to know their story also ना कि उनकी लाइफ में क्या चल रहा है, and you don't have to be serious about it also.
Okay. So we have less time left. So I'll just ask you last two questions. So, any lessons from your MBA that you bring to your career or your writing or your any lessons that you want to share? Because
See,
MBA is very
one lesson is that no amount of marketing or sales or money can save a bad product or can sell if the product is bad, you cannot sell it, period, no matter what you do, You can sell initially to somebody, but if you want a long term relationship, you have to create good products.
Mhm.
And as a writer also, I think as a writer, like it helps me because in when you work for a startup, you have very limited resources, limited amount of money,
Mhm.
and I think that gives you a lot of creativity how to use that money, because you have limited, like, you have there are multiple options, but because your money is limited, you have
Mhm.
to think that where you can put your money, where you can just
Mhm.
avoid or maybe take a pass. So I think that is something, resourcefulness is something that I think MBA or marketing or whatever you're doing, I think that is helpful as a writer, as
Mhm.
somebody who as, no, I mean, so as a digital creator, you should be resourceful. You should understand how to use your resources or time wisely.
Mhm. Okay. And I would like to know, how is Ankit in real life? Like, we spoke about Ankit as an author, Ankit as a social media creator, his work, his marketing, everything. He understands his
Ankit
leadership
is
work,
very,
but how is Ankit in real life?
I don't know, man. I just don't want. I don't want to. I'm very lazy. If you
Maybe if
see,
you can just describe yourself in two, three words, two, three adjectives.
yeah, I'm a kind of realistic person. I realized very early on that okay, you can daydream a lot, but
Mhm.
eventually you have to be realistic about your own abilities, about the environment you are, about your situation. You just cannot see somebody on a YouTube video and say, "Okay, I can also do this,"
Mhm.
right? Plus, I think you have to have a. I have a lot of. I'm very restless also.
Mhm.
Although I'm lazy, but I'm also very restless. I need to. If I want to do something, I will do it.
Mhm.
I'll do everything in my ability to be prepared for it first. I do a lot of. I spend a lot of time on preparedness, on being prepared before I start anything. So if I have to start a podcast, I'll probably do it. I'll probably do a lot of research, a lot of preparedness thing for probably 6 months, 8 months, 1 year. I don't know.
Okay, so
So
thanks
I
for
think
your
that is
time,
something.
Ankit. We are just very short on time. So
Yeah, sure, sure.
just,